welcome to NASSCOM Technology and Leadership Forum 2024. I'm Manisha Nair Dhawan. Now, we've all heard about generative AI, right? You've heard of ChatGPT and Midjourney, but is generative AI all about fancy pictures alone, or can it do more, especially for businesses? This is what we're trying to find out when we're speaking to business leaders today. Join me in welcoming Mr. Samit Banerjee, Division President, Customer Service Management and Cloud Operations, Amdocs. Thank you so much, Samit, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
So could you tell us how generative AI is being used, and will it change traditional business models, say in a sector like telecom?
Yeah, see, telecom is an area where you are touching almost everybody, you and me and millions of people outside in the market. So this is an area which will certainly be touched in multiple ways by generative AI. And it is also going to be something where both, whether it's a subscriber or the operators, are going to benefit at the end of the day. And we can talk about many use cases where this is being discussed right now. Yes, it is still early days. You do not have everything sorted out, but it will start to come.
Okay, so let's start with customer experience. I have a mobile phone and I have a problem with billing. So what I do now, I call up the customer care. आप कतार में हैं, कतार चलती रहती है. There are 1,000 issues and I don't find a resolution. How will Gen AI change this?
Sure. So I'll give you a classic use case over here because you touched upon something very regular that happens today. So what will Gen AI do? See, today, you and I, whenever we are utilizing the service of the telecom operator, there is a huge amount of data around us. For example, what package did we take? Where did we go for a vacation? When did we go? Did we change some plans over there? When we came back, was a technician who visited me? Was there a change of my device? Did I change some kind of a financing plan around the devices that I'm taking from the operator, and so on and so forth? All this data is existing today, okay? What we have not been able to do when we started to introduce chatbots is that we did not make it more generative. We made it more rule-based. And rule-based engines can only perform to a certain level. It cannot give you the fullest advantage of it. So that is why when you and I were trying to interact with a chatbot or with an IVR, we were getting a little frustrated. Yeah, and we used to drop the call. We said, I don't want this. I don't like this. Okay.
Yeah, because I got stonewalled by your rules.
Exactly. Generative AI can actually go and find out what exactly you have been doing, and therefore it can be the nuanced response to you. So therefore we expect, and we are actually doing a POC with a very large tier 0 operator in North America, where we are looking at a scenario that there will be something like a bill assist. Okay. So when you have that issue of billing, for example, when you are calling up the operator, at that point of time, it can refer back to everything that I as a user have done in the last 1 month, 2 months kind of a period. And therefore, it should be able to explain back to me that these are the things that you have done, and therefore the bill that you have got is explainable in this way.
But you're using the data that you have collected solely, the proprietary data you have,
the data around the user, meaning how you have been utilizing the services of the operator. Okay. And it can actually go even one step further, meaning if it understands that you are not happy with the amount of bill shock that you got, that this is too much of billing data, it can also go and recommend to you. It can say, hey, you know what, you are using a package which is, let's say, Family Giga 50, okay? Maybe based on your utilization for the last 3 months that we have seen, actually you can go for Family Giga 25, okay? And it can give recommendation. Now you then can decide whether I will change the plan or I will not change the plan, okay? These are the advantages that can come in, and the user can therefore have a different experience altogether.
Great. So you've given me the customer experience side of the story. I want to understand how Gen AI can help telcos in their efficiencies, especially operational efficiencies, because after a point of time you want your bang for your buck. So you save some costs on customer care, etc. But is generative AI going to open new revenue streams for me? What do I need to develop to do that?
Yeah. So I think there are two parts to it. Okay. One part is where the telecom operators are always looking at the reduction of their OPEX. Okay? How can I reduce my operational expenses? And the other part that you're talking about is that how do I create new revenue streams altogether? Okay. I think the second one is a little more tricky because people are still trying to figure it out. Okay, where can I utilize it? because right now the full focus is happening on the cost.
Okay.
Okay, this is where the focus is currently going up, and there I think the use cases are starting to come up. Okay, so in the upcoming quarters you will see that there will be some impact definitely in the call center space. Okay, so today there is a large cost which is sitting in the call center space. Okay, and this is something that has to reduce, because obviously we know that subscribers like us are always going to have some issue or the other, and there will be calls, and this has to reduce. There is another one which is based on the place where you are located or situated. You have call quality issues, right? And that also leads to a lot of customer frustrations and dissonance. And then you have to work on it. You have to send people, you have to change the network, you have to do something to your antennas or to the areas in that place where the call quality is not coming up well. These are things that you can again utilize GenAI to come up with answers, to say in advance what can happen and how can I resolve them, such that you should not face the call quality issue. You should be able to get the better quality of calls, such that you also don't churn, because this is another thing that is happening for the operators, right? That it is very easy to churn because we have number portability. You can churn, right? Now, how do I get to understand this in advance? This is something where GenAI can come into play. So there are use cases in the call center space.
So it's doing the predictive work, but in the end you will have to fix your network, right? You'll have to do the heavy ground lifting, right? What other ways can you improve network efficiency?
Today it is a little more reactive. Okay, because you keep getting calls and then you understand what exactly is the pattern that is emerging, and then you say, oh, okay, I know in the BKC area specifically you are having an issue on the Sundays between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So you come up with some kind of a pattern, and then you start to analyze that.
So it's predictive and not reactive.
So it can become more predictive, and not reactive. And if you can do that, what will happen? Then the incoming call volume from the subscribers who are not happy will start to reduce. You want that, because that's coming into your OpEx.
All right, but do some crystal ball gazing for us. Tell us what could be the new revenue streams that telcos could get out of generative AI. It's not happening now, but this possibility exists. Could you give us some ideas?
Yeah, see, this is going to be a challenge for sure. I don't know, maybe the amount of area where we operate today with the telcos is probably still limited, meaning you still see it more urbanized. Okay, the rural areas today, if you look at the Indian context, you see that the rural areas are all getting networked with the roadways. There's a huge amount of infrastructure projects which are going on in the country. So there will be a time when hundreds of millions of people in the rural areas will get interconnected with the cities and the way the economy is running, right?
So you think value-added services there?
There would be a lot of value-added service.
Okay.
Because you will bring in agriculture, you will try to bring in logistics, you will try to move in with goods across the entire country. Today we have so much of wastage that we know. Now imagine for a minute that you have all this data getting collected, okay? Because one thing about GenAI you have to understand is that it is based on data. So you have to collect the data and utilize the data in order to predict something and be able to solve the general problems that we have as users. So I feel that in the coming years, okay, what will happen is that this entire rural segment that can be utilized for the movement of our entire economy of the country, that can have an essential element in GenAI. Now, the telcos need to think. They need to do the crystal ball, as you are rightly pointing out. They need to understand what use cases will fly.
Then perhaps the skills people need will also change, because you know we keep talking about upskilling. You got to change, you got to improve. But with GenAI, what happens to the skills required in the future?
Yeah, a very valid question, because I think the regular work of any white-collared job that is happening right now is going to go through a mega shift. Okay, because
thank God it's only a shift. You don't think it's going to go away?
No, it won't go away. I still believe there will be a human intervention, but yes, there will definitely be a mega shift, because whatever is happening in a mundane way, that needs to go away. You can imagine it like the automotive industry 40 years back. You remember the assembly line, and you now look at an assembly line, whether it is Volkswagen or Tesla,
automatic,
doesn't matter. You see the way it is getting into the assembly line and how the work is getting done. Okay, you still have human being over there, but not in the regular mundane kind of work that was happening. So now shift it in the IT space, okay? Wherever we are having work related to coding that is getting done so much for all the telecom providers and all the services that we're providing around them, there's so much of computing work that is going on. That mundane work that is happening, that should go away, okay? That will go away, okay? And I think it's important that the skill set that will come into play is not about the regular stuff. It is about a little more high-end stuff.
High-end stuff like creativity,
so for example,
or
creativity,
analytics,
design around it, the critical development, the complex designs that we need to build up around it, it will have more of high-end work, okay? Regular should go away. How long will it take for the regular to go away? I don't really know, because it will depend really on the pace of the technology, the way it is coming up. But I feel today it is the way generative AI has started to come, it is like your iPhone moment, or there was a world which was before internet and there's a world after internet. I think generative AI is that moment in our lifetime.
Okay. So 2024 and beyond, what is the outlook for Gen AI? You're saying it's going to be a big reset. Beyond 2024, how will it evolve?
You will start to read now that there are technologies which are coming into generative AI space which can transform it. I mean, it is almost like you can see Indiana Jones, where Harrison Ford is almost like the way he was 40 years back, and yet continuing with that same franchise, okay, using generative AI right now. Similarly, if it is on the technology side of the house, as I was talking before, you will definitely have a major shift in the way work is going to get done, okay. In the telecom space, of course, we see that there will be a big shift in terms of how the service quality is being delivered to the subscribers, because this is an industry which connects all of us around the world, right? So it has a significant space in all of our minds, significant. Around the world, billions of people are getting connected. So whether it is the network, whether it is the way we are connecting, whether it is the service quality, whether it is how I give you the experience, the customer experience, subscriber experience, everywhere generative AI can come into play. The basis, however, is always going to be the amount of data that is collected, because generative AI is going to be able to come up with those killer use cases only when it can utilize and leverage the amount of data that exists in the environment.
Thank you so much, Samit, for joining us and discussing with us the future of generative AI in telecom and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much.